My parents made me work to pay for my brother's college, and years later, they finally saw who really succeeded.
I grew up watching my brother get everything. The bigger bedroom, the new clothes, the expensive toys. My parents always said, "You don't need as much. You should be grateful." I learned early that in our house, I was invisible. But it got worse when I turned 16. My parents sat me down and told me I had to start working to pay for my brother's college. While he studied in clean classrooms, played soccer, and laughed with friends, I was scrubbing tables in a diner, smelling of grease and burnt coffee. He came home every evening bragging about his grades, his trips, his new friends, and my parents clapped for him, proud, never once asking me how my day went. I spent years like that, working when I should have been learning, hiding my tears so no one would see how broken I felt. After long shifts at the diner, I studied by dim lamps, memorizing books I had borrowed from the library. I taught myself math, law, and languages, saving every spare coin. I learned to bargain for better pay, take small tutoring jobs, and stretch every dollar. Tiny victories kept me going, finally earning enough for a used laptop, finishing a tough book, or getting a recommendation that could change my future. While my brother laughed with friends and enjoyed weekends I could only dream about, I quietly built my own life, turning every insult and every unfair moment into fuel for the future. And when I turned 18, I walked out of that house with nothing but a backpack and a dream. I got scholarships, worked multiple jobs, and built a life from scratch. I graduated top of my class, got a good job, bought a car, rented my own apartment, and eventually bought my own house. Years passed. I had almost forgotten what it felt like to think about them until one day I received a strange invitation, a Christmas dinner at the family house. No calls, no messages for years, and now suddenly a formal invite? I hesitated, feeling a mix of disbelief and curiosity. Why now? Why me? After a long pause, I decided to go, mostly to see what had become of them and my brother, to witness the world I'd been excluded from. When I arrived, the house smelled of roasted turkey and pine, warm with laughter and chatter. My brother was at the center, my parents hovering around him, showing off papers and brochures. He had just put down a deposit on his 2-story dream home, and they were ecstatic, brimming with pride, oblivious to anything I might have done. Plates clattered, voices rose, and I realized they hadn't expected me at all. No one had looked up or greeted me as I came through the door. I smiled politely, hiding the swell of emotions inside me, and listened as they bragged endlessly. Then I leaned back in my chair, casually said, "That's nice. Not really a big deal, though." Silence fell. I began to tell them, slowly, deliberately, savoring the tension, about the house I had already bought, the car I had driven here, the life I had built with my own hands. My brother's mouth fell open, my parents' faces paled, and I could see disbelief written on every line. I didn't shout, I didn't gloat, I just laid out the truth. The child they had ignored, the one they thought would always be small and quiet, had built a life far beyond their imagination. The room froze, the Christmas lights flickered, and I finally felt the satisfaction I had waited for all those years. I had arrived late, but I had arrived victorious. Every choice they had made, every time they chose him over me, had led me here. And in the quiet of their astonishment, I realized I didn't need their approval. My life was my answer, my success, my final word.